Right, welcome everybody. We'll start the meeting. Item 1, to receive and accept apologies for absence. Everybody happy to accept Tina's feeble excuse that she's at the Indian restaurant just up the road? Yeah. Right. Did you want to add to that then? Oh, right. Right. Item 2, to note declaration of members' personal, prejudicial and disclosable pecuniary interests in respect of items on the agenda. Are there any at all? No? Okay, then we'll move on to the minutes. You've all had the minutes. To confirm the minutes of the meeting held on the 22nd of the 10th, 2004 are a true and accurate record. Is everybody happy with those? No dissenters, right? To receive an update on items from the previous meeting, if not agenda items for this meeting. Jane.
Quite a list in your pack, actually. I mean, some things will come up on the agenda, such as the car parking. Bridle Road update. I've had the volunteers who've cleared a lot of the overgrowth. There's several piles now of brambles, bits of tree that the town operatives have started to clear. I'm not sure they're going to get them done by the time the volunteers come back next week. I don't think it's pressing, although the weather's probably against us. I mean, the other option we have is to get our preferred contractor to come in and clear the rubbish. That's going to be quite a cost. And whether it's something to think about if we need to is how I feel, but it might stop the volunteers being able to put the chipping on the pathways as they'd hoped to do. So that's something, say whether you want to do anything about that or leave it just to run on. High Street bus shelters, that's still work ongoing. I think next week should see the RTI displays put in. I haven't spoken to the guy who came out. I think some of us met with Rob Pratt, I believe. Spoke to him last week. He's still got some money, so if we do want additional seating, if we want planters moved, when they've finished the main works, he's sort of willing to hear what we'd like done, if there is anything else. Casual vacancy, we've now got notices up, but we've left it for receipts of applications until after Christmas. We didn't think it was a good time to start people new on the council before. Clock, we've had the guys out yet again to look at the clock as it was running fast, so we do now hope it's sorted, finally sorted. There's change, should be here by the time we celebrate the 50th anniversary, if that's what we're going to do. I think the rest probably comes up elsewhere. SAM 2 sign, I've put in an application to the parish partnership scheme. The one obstacle perhaps is that we can no longer put them on lampposts. NCC highways have said no, they don't like that happening. I don't know where that puts the ones that we've got at the present time. I haven't had an answer to that question, and I don't know whether to push that too far. So if we get a third sign, we may need to put in posts. And nothing further on the security cam for Church Walk, although the Breckland officer has been out to see us since. He is trying to work on it still, but it is getting somebody to actually accept putting that camera up. And it is a Breckland project rather than anything we can really interfere with. That's it.
Righty ho. If there's nothing else, we'll move on to Graham.
Regarding Church Walk, I understand there were some volunteers collecting all the leaves. Yeah. Well, they've only been bagged up and they're all at the end. So will they be removed?
We've had the town operatives remove, I don't know how many bags, and that filled our cemetery skip. So there's a cost involved there, filling the cemetery skip up with leaves. There's now a second lot of leaves, which we have asked Serco if they'll remove them. Haven't heard whether they will or they won't, but we feel it really ought to be Serco because it's not, Church Walk isn't ours, if you like. So if Serco can do it, all well and good. If they won't, then we'll have to think about what we do.
The only thing I'd like to bring up is those black bags. They're not tied up, so they're laying down, right? So hedgehogs are now looking for somewhere to winter over. So these bags will have to be inspected before they're just thrown away. Because the chances are we might have a couple of hedgehogs stuck in there.
Right, if there's nothing further on that, we'll move on to reports. The chairman's report. I can report that I attended the Remembrance Day service on Sunday, as did several of the councillors here. Vice chairman's report.
On the 31st of October, I attended the Rotary Awards dinner and received the award from the Rotary Club to the Town Council's Fireworks Committee in appreciation of all the hard work and the excellent free show put on for the whole community. We have a certificate that's downstairs in the office, and we also have a lovely shiny trophy. But I think we need to extend thanks to those councillors that worked their socks off to actually make sure this event went well. So if Peter, Catherine, everybody that put an effort in, thank you. On the 9th of November, I attended the Commonwealth War Graves Service of Remembrance at St Mary's Church. On the 10th of November, I attended the Watton Town Remembrance Service. On the 11th of November, I attended the Remembrance Day service in the town centre. That's my lot.
Thank you. Yes, Stan.
The remembrance services in general, I feel it should go on record the excellent work done by Sue Dent and Lauren Woodgate for the organisation of both events. It's a nightmare, and strike me down if I tell a lie. Dealing with a Legion is not the best thing to do anyway, let alone at the time of remembrance when things were a little more emotional. And I think they did a great job, and we had a very good ceremony, probably the best one we've had yet. So could I propose a vote?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Is there a second? Yeah. Everybody in agreement? Excellent. It was really good. I agree. Keith.
Can I just say that it was a great honour for me to be able to lay Breckland's wreath in Watton. I don't think we've had the chairman of Breckland lay a wreath here for, I can't remember it, but I did insist that I would lay Breckland's wreath this year in Watton. It was a great honour.
Right. Thank you. Right. If there's nothing else on that, the clerk's report.
Okay, what else have I got? IT equipment. I think this will come up at the next Finance Committee meeting on Thursday, where we'll be looking at whether councillors would like a council laptop. So please, if anybody does, I think let us know so we can plan the budget for next year. Watton Sports Centre Junior Park Run. You'll see in your pack there's an invite to attend their first run, which is on Sunday. So please, can you let them know if you're attending? I think that's what they've said. Don is starting it, I believe, aren't you, Don?
Yeah.
So anybody else, please let them know.
Not running it, I might add.
If you're going to go along. The other is Festive Market, which I have got a little chart here from Lauren. She'd really like to know if people can attend, if they're attending, what times they can do what. So if you could pass that round, if you don't mind, and put your names down so she's got some idea of who's there helping. We've had a message back about the pedestrian counters, just to say that officers will come out and look at where they're going to install them. They'll like our feedback. So again, if anybody's got anything on that, but it is a Breckland project, I think it very much needs to be up to them, because they will be the ones for setting up the locations and agreeing with the owners of the buildings and the like. So that's in hand. And the other is the Market Square consultation, which I think I've sent round to everybody, and that's on the 25th of November, a drop-in session to be held here between 3 and 6:30. And the other one that's gone round is the car parking meeting that's going to be held at Dereham. I can't remember the date of that, but again, that's gone round, thanks to those who've responded. And if you do want to go along, let me know, At the moment, I think it's Don and I, so I don't know where we'll go with that one, Don, but we'll see if anyone else is going to attend or not. All right, that's it.
Okay, any questions for the clerk at all? Right, if there's not, we'll move on to reports from lead councillors. Tony has sent round a report. Do you want to speak to it, Tony?
If you don't mind, Chair, that'd be. For those that have read this, obviously, I'm a little bit sorry for the Air Cadets, because I did meet with them at the beginning of middle of the year, actually, and they did approach me for some help with lighting issues that they have over the back there with the children, obviously transiting backwards and forwards from the cadet hut. There are no lights. And I did say that I would bring it up with the Heritage Park Committee, that maybe in the future we could look at, if there's a car park over there, put in solar lighting, if that's something that can be looked at through the committee for that one. We've had issues obviously over on Lowell Park with dog fouling. I've obviously, talking with the clerk, we've put some signs up. I believe they have, but no dogs allowed on the park. I would like to make those more permanent metal signs rather than the paper ones that they've done temporary. If that's something that the council could look at, please. And also, I was asked to put together a plan for my proposal for Bridle Park as regards to the pump track. With the proposal I've got in front of me, the pump track that's here is the one that's over, you'll have to forgive me, because Wyndham. Wyndham Skate Park had one put in over 20 years ago. I have inquired about costing and that, but they've got no actual paperwork because of the, obviously, the length of time that they've had it in. But as you can see from the pictures, it's still used to this day. I would like the council's consideration to enhance the one that we're putting back in over at Bridle Road, and it's not going to be any bigger than the one at Wyndham. In actual fact, it's actually going to be the same size. Just a fluke of the measurements that I put in, and obviously the measurements that I've taken from this actual park. Now, I know the council have committed from 106 money a sum to pay for the ramps going in now, the park benches and the mugger. Now, when I put the proposal together originally, the council did say, whether I've got this right, they would commit £5,000, which was to go towards storage as well as the equipment that our preferred contractor was holding. And I'm hoping that the council will consider the use of that sum of money that hasn't been used at the moment to enhance this project to this standard. Now, we have had an on-site meeting, myself and the clerk with Will. It's something that can be done. It would just cost the soil for him to place in, of which he can't do at this time of the year, obviously, because it's going to be too boggy. But he did say that when the weather improves next year, that they would literally compact the ground and make it harder, forcing a track into the actual dirt. And then obviously if the council pays for the dirt, or however much it is per tonne, to actually have the bank curves put in and the humps alongside the existing BMX ramps that we've got at the moment. And that is my proposal towards the council.
Are there any questions, Catherine?
Just a couple of things, really. One was to do with the project itself. We agreed in March that the project would be 7,400. The money at that time was going to come out of the Community Improvement Fund, and the project was to be managed and brought to pass, if you like, by the office staff. So it was their project, and the pump track was part of that. We then were able to get the 7,400 covered by 106 money. So the project was agreed to be 7,400, and that's what we will have from the 106 money. The other thing was, I don't want to be negative, Tony, I really don't, but I am a bit concerned about extending the pump track at Bridle Road. We should be having the skate park at the sports centre. There are other forms of activities that young people enjoy that we don't provide in Watton. And rather than always coming back to skate park, pump track, could we not be looking at other things for Bridle Road if we want to spend more than that 7,400, which we'd already said was the project cost? So it was just a bit, can we not deal with this in a different way? Because as I say, there are other interests in Watton as well as skate park and pump tracks. The other thing is, at some point, we do need to start thinking about 106 money for perhaps projects for the elderly, because we make no provision for the elderly in a town where they are a significant part of the population. So that was just some of my thoughts. I'm not trying to be negative, Tony. I'm just trying to put this into the pot. So really, that's all.
All right. Sue?
Yeah, sorry. I'm not trying to be negative either, Tony. But the cadets, there is now a rule that they have to be driven there in the dark. They're not allowed to walk. But when I was mayor, which is 2 years ago, the police actually supplied the air cadets and the army cadets with high-vis jackets to be worn going to and from. So I'd be quite interested to know where all those high-vis jackets have gone. Yeah. No, they were allocated. And where you've put on there that you want us to consider purchasing these vests and torches, we do have the grant and donation system in place, which Carol Cox, as their chairman, is very much aware of. They do put in for an awful lot of money, and they are still wind-based and a charity within that. So I think they should start to look a little bit more at where things have disappeared to before they start asking us to supply more, because it seems that a lot of the money is just going into that section, which I don't have a problem with, because I think Air Cadets is marvellous and they are expanding and they've got a lot of membership. But there are other youth groups around that maybe we should be looking at those as well if we're just going to do ad hoc. But that's it.
Right. I think one of the things that Catherine brought up is the skate park, which is down the road. Is this something that we do as a council to move this on? Because it's been promised for ages. Well, I know there was all the trouble with the finance and everything. Tony?
Yeah, sorry, Chair. I did have a conversation with Mr. Kibler about a week ago.
Right.
He was talking about supporting things and doing things for the youth, and that did come up as a topic of conversation, and I was told that is now going ahead.
Right.
It's an update, and it's not on tonight's agenda because we've only just had it in, but we have had amended plans regarding the concrete skate park as it's on here. So that will be on the next agenda.
Right.
Yeah. So it's moving on, I guess.
Right. Well, we've had Tony's report and we've had the comments on it. So, yeah.
Catherine, as regards to the pump track itself, from my understanding, the original sign down there actually says pump track, and the BMX units that were brought by this council were actually put in on a grass where the basically couldn't be used. Hence the reason why I asked initially for the council to consider the enhancement as it was, or as it's going to be. I just think the only reason why I'm asking for this is that putting it back into grass isn't going to make it any better. I think if we're going to do this, I think we really do have to. And I mean, we're not talking thousands of pounds. It's not going to cost the council thousands to finish this off. We did ask Will for an account. Can we wait for Will to come back with an amount of what it would cost to put that in?
I think that's a way forward. Yeah, if we know what we're talking about in ways of finance, then we can make a final decision on it, can't we?
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'd appreciate that we sort of like sit back and just wait for that rather than just kill it dead now.
Yeah.
Just,
Okay.
all right, thank you.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Can I suggest that we get somebody else also to have a look and cost it as well,
Yeah.
rather than just have one person? Because one person can outprice everybody else and still get chosen for the job because he's the only one who's tendered for it. So
Yeah.
literally, I think we should get more than one person to have a look at it.
Okay. Yeah. Well, the policy is that we try and have at least 3. So yeah. So if we go along that road, then we'll see how we go. Yeah. Pardon? Yes. Okay. So
If you don't mind me butting in, we have got a quote for £750 to do some tree works at Bridle Road, which are in preparation for putting the mounds back in because the branches are overhanging the site. I do think that's something we do need to go ahead and do. I know that's in my spend, but just to let you know that it's part of the project which we hadn't actually priced, but it's work that's needed.
right. Okay.
Okay.
So reports from Lee. Yes, Keith.
Thank you, Chairman. If I can have a word as the lead councillor for planning.
Yeah.
Breckland's new planning portal is up and not running. The problem is that what happens now is where you always used to send around the weekly list, they now come in as individual applications when they go on the site, on the
Right.
portal, which is good, fine. Only problem is I can't access them. There's a link there. When you click on it, it goes, whoop. You click on it again, it goes, whoop. It goes up and down, but no way can I actually access the application through it. So I have done what I always do, and I always look at planning applications on this laptop because that is a lot bigger and I can actually see what it is. When I put the number in, it says the search criteria not recognised, or words to that effect. So I've had now a week of applications coming in and I cannot access them. The other day I had a TPO one come in and I replied to it saying I cannot access this because there is no link. There was a link, it's about that long. When you click on it, nothing happens. So I asked, how do I access it? The reply I got this morning was, if you copy it and paste it into Google Chrome, you can access it there. Well, for a start, I wouldn't have a bloody clue how to do it. And secondly, I should not have to be copying and pasting things somewhere else to access an application. So at the moment, if an application comes in and a member of the public goes onto the Breckland website and puts in the application number, they cannot access it. So as things stand at the moment, what I can do is forward on the what comes through to me, and maybe somebody else can find a way to get into it. I have said that at least I need some training on how to use this new improved system. Why it is that every time something is improved, it's made so much harder to actually use. So that is the situation at the moment with planning applications. I'll keep you updated.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Are there any other lead reports? Oh yeah.
Just very quick, I went to the youth festival. It was very successful in what it did. It had a lot of strong impact on young people's lives. There was some negative sides to the event in which the schools didn't properly address their students or parents, and footfall was not as much as we wanted. But the refreshments all went by the end of the day. They were very well received. Looking to do the event again next year, hopefully with some more sponsorships. And a special shout out to the Thetford Family Hub. Michelle, working there, has been instrumental in helping me reach out to the communities and youth provisions so we can all work together and hopefully make Watton a bit of a better place.
Stan.
Chairman, that was a good and detailed report. So thank you, Thomas.
Thank you. Is there any other questions for them? Jill?
Festive market again. I'd like to say thanks for the donations that have already come in. We'll always welcome some more, especially alcohol, but could we please have them to the office by this Friday? Because it takes quite a long time to put the tickets on and fold them up again. So if there are any more to come in, please by Friday. And again, thanks for those that have come in.
They're to come into the town
The
hall,
office.
into the office, right?
Jill, I don't know if it's worth mentioning what we're going to do, whether we will have any transport for Father Christmas at the festive market. It's something Lauren is working on. Current thinking is...
Jane,
Sorry.
Catherine's sorry.
Yeah. Father Christmas has had a problem with his sleigh this year, and don't laugh because it's very serious. And it means that rather than coming into Watton on his sleigh, Father Christmas is going to be coming into Watton on a Jeep, we believe, this year. So, yeah, as per the last few years, but we're sure it will be a much more comfortable ride.
Excellent. Cool. Right. So if there's nothing more on reports from lead councillors, we'll move on to 4.5 to receive events update. I think it's in our report, isn't it? Yeah. So if that's just noted. Public participation, I don't think we've got anybody for that.
Those involved in organising the various events, because the fireworks, I think, was the biggest event we've had for a long time. It went extremely well. I think it's worth noting that and thanking all those involved. And I know Stan wrote to everybody afterwards, and I would endorse what... No, I know, I understand that. And in general, I would endorse what you said.
Okay, thank you. Is everybody in agreement that we thank all of the staff that were involved? Right. To note draft car parking expression of interest.
This is in your pack, and it's sort of the first draft that I've put together. There's things we do need to know. Tina has helped by contacting officers at Breckland, and we have got a bit more information that she's sent through today. That's the sort of starting point. Certainly feedback to me if there's anything you feel we need to add to that. Don and I are booked up to meet with officers at the end of the month. They're asking for a proposal. I've turned to expression of interest yet because I'm not sure what the council wants to propose. So that's something we do need to get clear, please.
Peter.
Well, first of all, Chair, I thought, who's written the report? I wasn't sure, but I understand you wrote it, Jane. My congratulations too. You think it's an excellent report. Thank you very much. I know you say things have got to be added to it, but the whole concept of it, I think, is first class. I find it interesting that Breckland have now decided they want to have a meeting with other councillors, because should you ever cast your gaze over social media, probably the most hated people around at the moment, apart from Donald Trump, is Breckland District Council. They're awful, and they have, I mean, everybody slagged them off. Most people are extremely annoyed about the questionnaire. And I did put something out at one point. Years ago, working for a local authority, I wrote questionnaires. And what you say to the chief executive, what do you want to have as an outcome? He tells you, you write the questionnaire so you get it. And you have to be reasonably subtle about it, although I don't think they have been. The majority of people who will fill out that questionnaire will write all over it, I want free parking. And then we'll answer the question on how much should it be. As soon as you write that, you're finished. Because that's the only bit they will look at, because it's the only bit that actually counts as data. So if you said I want free parking, but if you really had to do it, I'll be willing to pay £1 an hour, you're in favour of £1 an hour. Nothing to do with free parking. And that's how cleverly, or if you like, it's been written. I think they've bitten off a bit more than they can chew, because a lot of people say, well, this is against what you said a year ago. And it's against what they actually said in meetings, because they did say people would be able to express their view, right? But it doesn't count for anything. They won't say 850 people said they wanted free parking. It'll say 90% of respondents said they'd be willing to pay between £1 and £3 for parking. That's an end to the argument. So I think I would like us to explore the possibility of either leasing the car parks, and we need to know what the cost would be of that. Although I notice they say they can't tell you what each individual car park will cost, but then they say later on what the costs are. So I would say I would be in favour of, first of all, leasing, if not buying them outright. And if we have to borrow the money, I would do it, because I think it's vital for the future of this town. The other one comment I would make, which I find quite, I was taken aback, Chair, I'm not very often taken aback, is that the car park at Elizabeth House is not included in the parking charges. So the councillors, you accepted there, who go there, park for free. What a surprise. And the staff who work there park for free. If you work in Watton and you need the car park, you're going to pay for it. So I think, please don't take it the wrong way, but there was an old expression of white man speak with forked tongue that the Native Americans used to say, and I think that speaks the same of Breckland District Council. Thank you.
Thank you. Graham.
Yeah, referring to, we've got a note here from Tina. They're saying about the actual rates for these car parks would be 7,500 each year. All right? And apparently so far, Breckland has spent £51,000. All right? Now, if we do take these car parks on, it's going to cost a fortune. All right? And we're not going to get a revenue back off of it. So, I think we've got to think carefully about, the next step. We need to have all the figures to know what the revenue is going to be and what the cost is going to be, because we've got the maintenance as well. So, if a fence comes down or anything silly like that, we will be responsible for that on all three car parks, plus the resurfacing and everything else that goes with it. So there's a lot to take in.
Yeah, whatever happens in these discussions, no decision will be taken outside of this council. All the information will come back here, and then the final decision or whatever will be taken here. So, Catherine.
Just to put in your minds, basically, how many of us can actually remember any of the council car parks being maintained, white lined, and anything has anybody actually seen the council do anything to the car parks? I mean, I've lived here 57 years, and I cannot actually remember, other than them making it into a car park, anybody else turning up to do anything else with them, to be fair.
Thomas.
I watched the Breckland Cabinet meeting, and the leader of the House said he had a meeting with Swaffham Council. Do we have a meeting with them, or are they still ignoring us?
Don and I have got a date to meet with officers. Councillors have been invited to Elizabeth House on a date after we've met. So.
Stan.
Thank you. Firstly, to answer Catherine's question, I appreciate it was rhetorical. However, when I was county council, I did see some work going on in a council-owned car park. Oh, it was the one mentioned at Elizabeth House in. So I just thought I'd mention that. Not a problem. And I would just say, Chair, that if we are going to discuss this, we need to explore with enthusiasm the proposed by Peter that perhaps buying would be a better option than leasing, in that all the time it's leased, it's not owned by us. Bracknell would still have control. And would they be quick to come and resurface it if they own it and we're just leasing it? Just food for thought.
Graham?
Yeah, we're talking about a lease, and we're talking about a full repair lease.
Well, this is something that will be discussed, isn't it, sort of thing. Peter?
Couple of things. I don't want to go over things again. On the 25th of November, you are meeting with Breckland. Who else is going to be there with you?
It's open to any councillors should you wish to attend. It's
Oh,
very
fine,
much-
okay. It just that didn't look, well, I wasn't aware that was the case.
Yeah, we were going to go there, if you remember, Don and I, to meet
Okay.
with the leader.
They're gonna
and
come here.
various others.
Do you know who is coming here?
No, I don't.
Okay,
yet.
fair enough.
One officer.
Sorry.
Other than that, no.
And the last thing I want to say, in their frequently asked questions, they talk about fairness. And perhaps when you go to the meeting there, it's important that things are done fairly, and they want to treat everybody the same. So can you ask them where are our leisure facilities that they provide? Because there still isn't one in this town. And if you want to talk about fairness, every other town in Breckland has facilities provided by Breckland. We are the only town that doesn't. So perhaps they'd like to talk about fairness in that respect.
Right here. Stan?
Thank you, Chairman. The 25th is just over a week away, or nearly 2 weeks away. We currently have an HR meeting booked for 11 o'clock, which I would dare not miss, on pain of death, trust me. However, is it something we need to consider being flexible on if it means that the council are going to be here and we can challenge them? It's just, again, food for thought, and until you know what time we're coming.
There won't be any councillors, I don't think. It will be officers only. I'm not expecting
Oh,
any
sorry,
councillors.
officers, council
Do you mean
representatives.
councillors from
Yeah.
here?
No, I mean councillors from there coming here, that if we're in a position to challenge them, we don't want to be sat in an HR meeting and not be able to have that conversation.
The HR meeting's the morning. This is 2:30, I believe we're meeting. And say, at the moment, it is one officer. And the idea was to put that proposal forward at that meeting. I've put that expression of interest together. I don't think we can put a proposal together until we know more figures from them. But again, if you are happy that that's the stance we take, or whether we turn this into a proposal, but I'm expecting they're going to want figures from us if we're doing that.
Yes.
Which they're not doing. But the other thing is, Jane, when are they going to fix the lights in Kittle Close car park? Because they haven't worked for 8 weeks now. So, I mean, God, they must have so little money, they can't do anything at the moment.
Also, Don, I've had somebody approach me today about lamppost 501 that does not exist on the itinerary of their lampposts, but they've got 500 and they've got 502, but they haven't got 501, even though it's standing exactly where 501 was put. So maybe they should have a little look at that, because that is right at the end of Church Walk.
Right. Okay. Keith?
On that, might I suggest that we all coordinate these things? Because I think I've got a list of 6 light lampposts. I've been trying to get things done. If it all came into the office, maybe one large input might have a little bit more impact.
Right.
Because I don't know whether it's the same one that Kat was just talking about, but somebody else told me the other day about, I can't remember which one it was. The ones each side are Breckland's, but the one that's not working isn't. Probably probably.
We've had that reported to the office, and I believe Michelle was contacting Bretland about that, but I've not heard if we've had anything come back.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, we've drifted slightly off piste here. So, so that we've noted her interest and the really good work that Jane has done in putting this forward. I think the meeting on the 25th will just be to explore the possibilities and whether it is possible, and to ask for costings and things like that and what would be involved. So if the council's happy with that.
Can I just add one thing, Chair,
Yes.
on that? Jane did send it around. I did look at it. The Bretland policy on getting rid of assets, and it's quite clear in there. Car parks are with them, and as long as they sell them and they get their money back, that's one of the policies. So I if they're going to say no, you can't.
Yeah.
Why? Because they don't want them,
Yeah.
or do they want to keep them because they want the revenue? And if they don't get the revenue, what happens? But anyway, that.
Interesting timing to have received that,
Yeah.
actually.
Okay.
Go ahead with the expression of
Yeah.
interest as is, and then move forward
Yeah.
after that.
Right.
Okay.
Very briefly,
Just-
because we
just-
need to move on.
Yeah, no, it's only a quickie, but after you've had this meeting, right, however long it takes, can you just mention that there is a parking charge for them?
Right. So we move on to item 7, to accept quote for 2024 tree risk assessment.
This is just something we are advised to have undertaken annually now, so it's more to bring your attention to the fact that we are going ahead, if that's okay with everybody, £775.
I hope everybody's happy with that. Number 8, to agree donation for Wayland Academy Class of 24 graduation evening.
It's just something that comes up each year. I think it was £50 last year, if I believe. So
Was it 50 or did we increase?
did we increase it? It's in there, isn't it? 50.
Right. Okay. Is everybody happy to do that? Right. Okay. To consider correspondence received from Love Watton, and you've got it in your pack.
Something that I think was sent to Lauren. So again, it's just to make you aware of it, and whether it's something we look at a future time, or whether we have anything to go back to them at the moment. It's more, again, drawing your attention to the fact that they've made contact. And the lady did come here and speak to us, I think, actually a while back.
Yep. Okay. Everybody happy with that? Thomas?
The charity Love Watton has been set up with altruistic traits, and they only want to help Watton. And they can't do it all alone, and some of us are going to have to put our hands in to help them if we want to create a bigger impact. So I would say that maybe we invite Love Watton back, and we can have a little meeting and discuss what they actually want to do with us. I think that would be a constructive way to do it.
All right. Well, Peter's suggested that we note it and then we look at it later on, and then we can look at all those kind of suggestions then. Right. So to receive report and consider recommendations regarding church walk Christmas lights. Peter. While James
We looked at it and seen what people said. I don't think we can possibly do anything this year. So I would propose that we defer decision to fully analyse what we've got and how much it will cost, because I think we can't do it at this late stage.
Okay. Graham?
Yeah, I've got a slight suspicion that this is not going to go ahead. So whatever we do, and if we refer it to next year, there's still nothing will get done. And this is going to be the trend. At the end of the day, we're talking just a minute ago about Love Watton, right? And we're not going to put up Christmas lights, which we've already got, which is not going to cost anything apart from the installation. So why aren't we going to do something that's actually for Watton, right? the people of Watton are going to go down there and see that. Other people are just going to drive straight through the high street, look at the lights, and then go home again. This is something for the town itself and the people that live here. So why don't we do something that is actually for the people, right? I mean, you know, I'm really, really behind this, right? And I can't see why we're going to keep putting it off and putting it off. It makes no sense whatsoever.
Stan, Catherine, and then Sue.
Thank you, Chairman. Graham, I can see your frustration, and these things can seem to take forever to do. But, Chair, we've seen a figure of 17.5 grand, and we're 6 weeks before Christmas. There's nothing we can do in time to get the lights in Church Walk, but what we can do in the next 12 months is look at the sum realistically, look at if we can get sponsorship or support elsewhere for this, because given the location, yes, it would look fantastic, it would look great, but the footfall versus the spend, the public will be up in arms. We're talking about buying a car park. You could buy a car park for that money. So we've got the lights to go elsewhere. The lights where does it say that? It says here that it's to buy them for 17.5 grand.
Yeah, Catherine.
I particularly had a conversation with Lauren today because whatever we think, we should give due credit to Lauren and Michelle, I think, particularly for the work they've put into getting these quotes and getting it as far. You may not think anything's been happening, Graham. It has. You may not think things have happened in the past. We wouldn't have the lights we've got on the high streets now if nobody had done anything in the past. So it's not true to say things are shelved and then it never happens. And we do need to give credit to the people who've done the work for us. If you actually read the report, there are costs. There's considerable costs depending on which way you go. Some of the things wouldn't be possible this year because of public health and safety issues, which would we'd be liable to anything that happened to anybody using the walk at that time. There are better ways that we could light the church walk, but we need to investigate the costs on those. We can recycle the old lights, but not as the trees are now. Those trees, if you read the report, those trees are not high enough for the wattage of the bulbs that we have. And they need to be that high because they have to be pollarded every 3 years. So that was one consideration we were making to use the old lights. That may not be possible. It may if we look at it in a different way. Other considerations are to use a company, to use different kinds of lights and different kinds of getting the power to the lighting. So there's different ways we can do it, and our office staff have been finding that information for us. It is not their fault that the information has come through so late. It doesn't mean to say it can't happen next year. It probably will happen next year if that's what we want to do. But we need to do a proper consideration of all the costs, public liability and public safety before we go headlong into doing such a large project.
Okay.
Also, Don, would it not be sensible to have the lights put up after the trees have been pollarded? So if they're due to be pollarded in 2 years, there's not going to be any lights for 2 years because those trees need doing before any lights go up anyway. I don't know when the trees are due to.
I think it's to do with the height of them as well, isn't it? And they're pollarded to a certain height. Steve?
Just a quick one, really, to say that the public are going to be more interested, like Stan said, in purchasing a car park than worrying about walking down Church Walk based on recent events.
Right. Stan, did you? No, all right. Okay. All right. Graham, then.
I just want to, I can't understand this. We've got a quote here, right, for £4,000. And they say that they can use the existing lights and there's not going to be a problem. So if they're going to use these original lights and people are saying, no, we want the low voltage ones, right, which is going to be £17,000, right, I've been down there and we've got delivery trucks going in and out. So they're going to be on the, unless people are going to stand on each other's shoulders, there's no way they can actually get to these lights. So I don't understand what the problem is.
Well, it's health and safety, isn't it? I mean, you know, you might say it's mad, but but as a council, we have to follow those kind of rules and regulations, don't we?
But if this company is going to put these lights in, it's their responsibility to make sure that they're installed adequately, surely.
No, I don't think it will be. Catherine, and then. Right, so we've got a proposal and a second. Well, very quickly, because
Yeah, very quickly. We talked about the, on the 1st of August, you sent me an email asking me to come down for location of the bench at Tesco's. Yeah? I've got a copy of it if you want to see it. I went down there, again, exactly where this bench is going to go. Right, that was the 1st of August. And again, nothing has been done. So, you know, what is going on here? You know, why don't we actually get something done as opposed to just keep talking about it and then setting up a working party, a subcommittee, and then report back? It just goes on and on and on. Why can't we make decisions?
we have a proposal, we have a seconder. Is everybody in agreement with that? Right, so that's everybody in favour apart from Graham. And we can follow up the other matter about the bench.
In the hands of the contractor, Graham. That's it. They're ready to go as far as I know.
I think we need to move on now anyway. So right, we move on to item 11, to consider correspondence received from Watton Sports Centre, read the hardship rates relief. And once again, you've got it in your pack.
I suppose that we write such a letter.
Right.
Because all it is, it's just to get them rate relief. We're not putting anything in.
So, right, so we've got a proposer and a seconder. Is everybody in agreement that we write a letter? Good. Right. To consider a donation request received from Norfolk Community Law Services. Anybody? Peter?
If they want a donation, they can fill out the form.
Right.
I would suggest the clerk sends them the appropriate forms. Tell them if they want to get a donation. No guarantee they will,
No.
but they fill out the form, send it back.
Okay, like anybody else has to. Yeah. Did you want to speak on this?
Yeah, I know it says they're a charity, but I'm just a little concerned that if we say yes, we're going to give them some funds, they are almost a sort of a business, and it's saying about the different legal systems. Well, you can get half an hour free from a solicitor. So I just feel that we would be encouraging certain elements of this community that, hey, never mind, Watton Town Council will pay for my legal representation. So personally, I think we've got to look very, very carefully at exactly what they are, what their actual accounts look like, before we even consider saying what we're going to do for them, because it just seems a little bit not of our remit.
Keith?
Thank you, Chairman. I mean, what I would like to know is what work do they actually do in Watton? You know, I mean, I did read in there that they are looking to have a presence in Watton. Well, give us some money, we might come to you. You know, I would like to know what they do in Watton, because, I mean, the address 14 Prince of Wales Road, Norwich. you know, yeah. So, you know, I would like more information about what they do outside of Norwich, really.
All right, Peter.
Yeah, that's why I said fill out the form. They fill out the form, they've got to say what they do, how many people they're going to help in Watton,
Yeah.
and what their accounts are.
Yeah.
And then we can say yes or no.
Catherine and then Graham. And
Also,
I think we need to move on.
I wouldn't jump on sending them a copy of the form. I would expect them to come and get it like everybody else, to be fair.
Yeah. Graham.
Yeah, as far as I understand, from what I've read, you get half hour free, and then they would direct you to the appropriate. So the rest of it is not free. So, you know, some people think they're going to get something for nothing, but at the end of the day, they're not.
No. Okay, so we're going to ask them to fill a form in if they want any money, and then we can investigate further after that. Right, item 13, to accept the proposal for an internal audit 24-25.
We'd already, I think, agreed that we would use the same internal auditor as last year, so that is just his proposal put forward to you. And I'm hoping you're going to go ahead and say yes.
So, yeah,
Yeah,
all right.
thank you.
Everybody happy that we go forward? Right, fantastic. 14, we did discuss this last time, but it's just to do it formally, to agree a small event to celebrate the 50th year of the town council. So it's just tea and coffee, so there won't be any huge amounts spent.
Just to say, if we did have a small budget, we were perhaps thinking of up to £500, if that, just to put on some mince pies, sausage rolls. We've gone for an afternoon rather than I thought about before a town council meeting, but felt that wasn't perhaps the best time, talking to staff in the office. So that's it really. If you're happy to go ahead, that's what we'll do.
Thomas.
Do we know anyone that can make us food for free, or can we get sponsored by Watton Bakery?
We're thinking of using Watton Bakery because it's local, and we have had refreshments from them for other events and training, and they're very reasonable. So.
Yeah. Okay. Peter.
A comment. Does it have to be for 3 hours? Is it, well, I don't think saying come between 12. If you want to take a photograph, which I think was the idea, I would be inclined more to say it's between 1 and 2.
I think that's allowed.
It's getting some of them out of Watton Cemetery is going to be the problem. But I do think, no, I'm sorry, terrible thing. I do think 3 hours is far too long.
Yeah.
Because some of us who will come can't concentrate for that length of time. And if the concept is, I think we do need to say on it, there will be a group photograph at such and such a time,
Yeah.
so that they come for that.
Yeah. Okay.
It says.
I like that.
Does it say one? Oh, yes, it does say. You're right, Thomas. You've read it all from top to bottom.
I think we thought it would allow people to drop in more rather than fix them to a time.
Yeah.
But if,
Okay.
you know,
Yeah.
We'll make it a bit clearer, the bit at the bottom, because I didn't see it.
Well, do you want it in Janet and John?
Well, I do need my eyes to know.
Right. So,
cut it down though, if that's the sort of general
I think so.
feeling.
yeah.
Yeah.
12 to 2 or something like that, or 12:30 to 2, something like that.
Okay. Right. So we'll move on. We've decided that one. So we'll move on to item 15 to accept the risk management plan.
Again, this is just one we have to do every now and again, well, every year really. So it's there on the town council website if people have had a look. I did have a quick look. I'm not-
Agreed.
Yeah, it's there. If it needs updating, we will update,
Yeah.
but it's there.
So everybody happy that we accept that? Good. To accept a proposed 20-mile-an-hour speed limit zone for Harvest Road, Crabtree Close and Bramble Way. I think we had maps of that before, so
I think
everybody
it's-
happy to
Yes.
accept?
It's another one, it was a different one last time, so yeah, it's just, if we're happy with that, we'll just say
Right.
so, yeah.
Right, to consider request to adopt the open space provision within LAM Ref 542 and a whole load of other. Does this fall under planning or? No. Peter?
Can be right back and say no. We have a policy that we do not accept any further land at all from any developers because we end up paying it for donkey's years. So the answer is no.
Right. So that's our policy. Is everybody happy to accept that? Yeah. Good. Right. So now we do move on to planning. There isn't anything? No. I thought I did see one somewhere, but. Right. Right, but we were to discuss them at the next one. Right. Is there anything on item 19 to All right, if there's nothing else, I'll close the meeting. Yeah.
I did see something come through on that about proposal for the down Merton Road.
Yeah, I thought we'd,
Yeah,
yeah. But
Yeah.
we can follow it
came
up
through a
though,
few
can't
weeks
we?
ago. Yeah, yeah.
Right, if there's nothing else, we'll close the meeting. Cool.